next thing we're going to look at is the gear we start out with in our inventory. I'm not really used to doing these type of informative type of videos. I'm usually doing like Let's Play, so it's all off the top of my head. But with this being more informative, I gotta really slow down and think like, I want to make sure that I tell you guys everything that is very important to know. Okay, so when it comes to your inventory, everybody starts with 6 of the same items, and the rest after that is based on your profession. So we're going to bring up the inventory, and we're also going to bring up the Where tab and the Nano tab. Now, before we go any further, when it comes with the windows here, it's known as a roll window because default they would stack up like this, and you can use the scroll to move them up and down. So you can, I'm sorry, I had to pause for a minute. Oh yeah, so you can scroll up and down with this. Now you can also, which I just found this out, which blows my mind. If you hold down right click on the window, see how it comes up with the name? You can pop it out. And now you see there's a little little crosshair so you can move it around. Normally you don't do that. Okay, so you can move that around wherever you like, and also to keep the screen from fading, like see how the Where did that? You're going to click this button right here. It looks like a thumbtack. That will keep it from fading out. Okay, very important. All right, so let's just move you here for now. So put this back on the weapons. So now we have our inventory. So one important thing we need to know is how do we get more information about, the items we have? Well, remember what I told you to do, how to learn more information about Rex so we could see his level? We're going to hold down the left shift and left click on this item here. So this is a health and nano recharger, and it's got a lot of information on here that we need to know about. Like many of the older games that rely on your skills and your abilities and what you have, you need to have certain requirements to wear certain gear, to use certain nanos, etc. For example, this tells us the rarity is normal, and items can have a rarity from essentially trash up to like quality level like 200-300, I believe, which shows right here the quality level. The rarity, I think the rarity is like special, legendary, something like that. The requirements, this is what you need to look at. So if you want to use it on a target, somebody else besides you, yeah, that target must not have an allied character in combat, must be your own pet, or must be sitting on the ground, and must be a player character. So all these things are important. And if you're going to do it on yourself, oh, excuse me, let me rephrase that. I misunderstood. Not only does it with the target, but you have to be sitting on the ground, not have anybody in combat, and you have to have a first aid at 7 or a treatment at 7. Sounds confusing, doesn't it? Essentially, you and the target you're going to use it on can't be in a combat. Sitting on the ground, taking a chill, and you need to have a first aid skill at 7 or a treatment skill at 7. Pretty simple. The modifier will tell you what it will do. So it heals 200 damage. It gives you 200 nano points and treatment skill lock for 15 seconds. Now that is the cooldown. You'll be able to see that more as we get through the Elite Landing tutorial when we start using some items. I can show you like about with the cooldowns, but it'll give you a timer over the item, and little gray on the left and right will slowly start moving inward. And once you can use it again, it'll say something like treatment skill now available, or first aid available. Pardon me 1 second, let me get some water. Good golly, Miss Molly. Now you can also click on this link right here, Cast Minor Regeneration. What that does is that tells you what the actual skill it is using on your target. So what this does, you get healing of 5% if on self and you're below level 150 and so you're between 1 and 150. Nano points of plus 5% if you're between 1 and 150. Healing 1% if you're above 150. Okay? Pretty simple. On death. I have no idea what the fudge that means. Okay. See, it's like this nano will be more effective if you are below level 150. So you start with that. Then you also get this Health O Nano Stim, which can be used in combat, but you can't target a monster and your first aid has to be at 11. Now this one has a longer cooldown for first aid for 40 seconds. And this is something like if you're in combat, you would target yourself, use it, and then continue, but it has a longer cooldown than the out of combat healing stim. Okay, well, actually, I should say this is not a stim. This is more like a med pack. Blech. Next, we have Black Main's Belt Component Platform. So this quality level is special. In order to use it, we need to have computer literacy of 20. When we put it on, speed, attack 10 seconds, recharge 10 seconds. I believe that raises that for you. Equipment delays 2 seconds means that's how long it takes for you to put it on. Location, it goes on your deck, so it would go on this part in your weapons. On modifier, modifies free deck slot 2, modify max NCU 2. So you would get 2 more of the NCU number, so it would go from 8 to 10. Free deck slot 2, what I'm thinking is it unlocks this deck slot here. Now, I'll go into those deck slots and everything later because I don't want to say the incorrect thing. Because it states, equipping the component platform will allow you to equip NCU memory chips into deck slots 1 and 2. It will also provide secondary storage space for nano programs. So, you definitely want to put the belt on. But I don't think I could do that at least for another 2 levels or so. My computer literacy is very low. Next we have some polarized specs. Now this is no drop in unique. The rarity level's trash. Boo. It goes on our head. So we would click to the clothing tab. For us, it modifies our defense sum here. Used to protect yourself against any type of damage. It also adds that little touch of extra good looks. So if I move this from here and I spin myself around here, now you could pick up the item and drop it there. Oh, look how fancy I am, everybody. Oh yeah. That looks ridiculous. Woo. Okay. And now next we have a colonist survival pack. Now this goes on our back. It gives us health and nano pull by 10 if we put it on. And it's an extra little backpack to put stuff in. Now, I need to pause for a minute because I want to double check something. Be right back. Okay. What I had looked up is, I swore when I did this, the tutorial guide some years ago, that when you put the backpack either on your back or if it was still in your inventory, even though you could right click it to open it and you put items in there, you could not use items from in there if it was that. But I seem to be incorrect, or they changed it, I don't know. But essentially, this little bad boy, we're going to pick it up, put it in our back slot here, and oh yeah, folks, we're ready for camping. Look at that. I think if I hit the leather watt, pin your shortcut. Wow, thanks, game. Anyway, but yeah, so we got our backpack on here right now. And if you right click here, you get another little inventory. You can also one click there and place it on here. So we can now open and close our backpacks from our hotbar. Pretty cool, huh? Did you just give me an NCU again? No, okay, that was just putting the backpack on. Before, when I was trying to make this tutorial. A very nice person came by and just threw a whole bunch of NCU buffs on me, which messed a lot of stuff up because I was trying to show things, and then my stats were going all over the place. I'm like, crap. Okay. Now, last but not least, everybody is going to start out with the nanocrystal of composite utility expertise. Now, nanocrystals comes in two forms. You have something that looks like this, and then you have the nanocrystal that looks like this. If it's with a little claw on the end, that's usually skills for your profession. This thing, I think anybody can use it. Excuse me. Ooh, pardon me. Had to burp there. So what this does, it's a quality level 25. You cannot have the nano program of composite utility expertise on, which means you can't buff yourself with it if you already have it on yourself. You need sensory impro from 4 and psychomodia from 4. I don't know the exact words. We'll look over that when I go to the skills page. And you can only use it on yourself. What this will do is increases concealment, perception, break and entry, computer literacy, first aid, and treatment of the target by 20. So it's essentially a buff for yourself with some of these skills. So in order for us to learn it, we're going to right-click it, and then it's going to pop up here under Psycho. So this must be Psycho, so that's going to pop up right there. Cool. All right, let me close this. Let me close this so we don't get confused. Okay, now, anything else after those 6 will be very specific for your profession. So, for example, as a martial artist, my nanocrystal skill is called Iron Fist. This is a buff for myself that is quality level 4. Visual profession martial artist. Essentially, that means you have to be that profession in order to use it. I need biometamorph at 5 and sensory imp at 5. This gives me a melee-based damage inflicted by the target is increased by 2 points. Only martial artists are able to control this formula. Okay. So we're going to right-click that. That's going to go under space. I have no idea. I wonder why. Maybe it's because it's a buff. Yeah, I thought it would be combat, but I was wrong. Oh, somebody's doing some battles in the tower battle. Woohoo! Then next we have our weapons. So I start out with a worn bow and a worn oak bow. Woohoo! So going over here with the weapons real quick. So you can see this is no drop, rarity normal, quality level 1, ammo type self-supplied. Now, what that means is there are some range weapons like rifles and guns you have to buy ammo for. There's specific kiosks, which I'll show you later, where you can buy ammo, and it's like a game. Think of like maybe those type of games where you have the bow and you have to buy arrows, and when you run out of arrows, you can't use your bow anymore, type of thing. It says damage DPS, the speed. So I attack every second, and my recharge of something is 1:50. I don't know what that, or 1.5 seconds. Equip delay takes me half a second to put on. Initiative, that's based on skills. We could look at that later. I use it in my left hand. My range is 30 meters. It has a special ability called Fling Shot. My attack skills based 100% on bow. Defensive skills is 100% dodge range. Damage type is impale projection. So this is like what you would defend with, I think. And this bow uses a simple, elegant, and deadly design. It fires energized oxygen beams, then doesn't require any ammo. That's weird. Oxygen beams. Huh. Yeah. Now my other weapon here is a worn oak bow. Rarity normal, quality level 1. This initiative is melee weapons initiative. I hold this in my right hand. It's two-hander. Range is 3 meters. MA for combined attack. I think that means my martial arts has to be 5 to do a combined attack, which means that you do that and you kick, I think, as long as you fight. Somebody could let me know. The attack skills 100% martial arts. Defense skills evade close combat 100%. Damage type is melee martial arts to defend with. This is one of the classic training weapons of the traditional martial artists. However, this one is in rough shape because I love getting shitty weapons. Now, just like our backpack, we can left click once and we can put the items in our hotbar. Now, I'm going to click on my bow, my worn bow, but I want you to keep an eye up here. It'll happen quickly, but just watch. Whoop! Did you see that bar show up? That shows you when you're equipping a weapon. Now, I cannot click on my melee to put it on, as it says you can't dual wield this weapon with the already equipped weapon. So I have to take off my bow, and then whoop. Okay, so that's how you know it's going to take time to equip and unequip things. It's not like I would say EverQuest or some other MMOs where you just, whip off a piece of armor and slap that puppy back on. It doesn't work like that. And I'm not sure if you can change equipment in combat, but we'll find out later. So that was going over the inventory. Okay, hope y'all with me so far. I know, can be a little confusing. I'm trying to go as slow as I can. But there's a lot to go over here. Another sip of water there. So lastly, what I want to go over is setting up your UI. So we're going to hit Actions, Help Settings, and Settings. We're going to go to the Preference tab. We're going to click this little arrow next to UI. Now, many of you might like a more cleaner UI. Some, don't mind having the buttons and all around. If you want a very clean UI, you're going to click this button here that says Enable Control Center. If you click that, it's going to take the wings away. It's going to take the compass. It's essentially going to take everything away, and you can just use the shortcut keys. Now right now I'm just going to put up the pictures of all the shortcut keys again. Now remember, those are the default settings. You can also change it if you need to, but you can make a clean UI and do it that way. But we're going to put that back on. You can change it so that you remove the left hand wing, so you don't have any buttons there. You can remove the target in case you don't want that. You can remove the left wing there, and you could do the same on the right. Control Center Fade Delay, let's turn it up. You can change so that you don't, whoops, let me close this a minute. You could change it so your health bar and your nano bar little bubbles here don't show up. Targeting, show nano target. Okay, if you, right here in the corner here, let me turn it so you can see a little bit better. There we go. So right here, I'm targeting myself. If I uncheck show nano target, so now when you target something with this up, it won't show you the bar. If you do show nano targets NCU, that gives you another little window here. It's essentially like a game where when you, like in Final 14, when I target an enemy, I could see what buffs and debuffs are on them. That's essentially what you're doing when you have the nano target NCU up. And that's for your friendly target. Now the fight target, you could do the same thing. That's the target that's over on this side. You can have it so you can have a little NC, oops. You can have it with an NCU window up so you can see what their buffs and debuffs are. You can, I'm auto target hostile players and monsters. I'm assuming when you hit tab, it automatically goes there. I don't know. I've never turned them on, so I can't say. Then of course you can turn on and off your, shortcuts. You can lock the things, which I'm assuming you can't drag them from where you have placed them. Number of shortcut bars, you start with 1. If you grab this here and you drag, whoop, there's another one that shows up. Now I could show you here if I bring this down. See, if I click on this little button there, that'll bring the light to that button. That's now my main hotbar, okay? So you can set up how many hotbars you want. And the other thing to know about is this one here, add new nanos to shortcut bar. If you have this clicked, when you learn a new nano, like how I learned my Iron Fist, as soon as I learn it, it will put the nano on your hotbar. If you don't want that, just keep that unchecked. This here toggles the compass. Personally, keep the compass on because when we get to doing missions, it'll show in there like a little orange dot. It's either orange or yellow, but it'll show you the direction where your target or your mission is, so a little easier for you to find. The roll-up panel which is interesting because, let's say, let me bring up. Okay. I'm just checking something here. All right, so if I do the moral up panel, if I uncheck that, then you literally don't have the thing there. So I'm not sure what's the point of doing that, unless you turn that off and then you do the shortcuts for it. But what I do like is this little mini toolbar. So you could do the mini toolbar, then turn off these buttons on the wings, because you essentially have all the buttons here. Like, you know, here's your aware, here's your actions. The hell is knowledge? Hang on a second, folks, because I did not come up with the knowledge anywhere. I do not know what this is. And he sure as hell didn't tell me what it was. Yeah, so I have no idea what this knowledge is. But then we have your mission bar, team, here's your map, friends, programs, stats, and NC. Wait a minute. See, none of these things light up, so I have no idea what that knowledge bar is. Anyway, excuse me. So you can bring up, pardon me, I like the mini toolbar. Excuse me. Show notification window. I am unsure what that is. Show window frame. Oh, okay. That when you get notification, okay, that must be. Ah, right. Something with up there. No clue. I have to look into that later. Window. What this does is, what will close when you hit the escape? But I can tell you one thing. Don't hit escape while you're playing the game. I don't know if it's because I'm recording, but every time if I accidentally hit escape, I freaking close the game. And then I'm like, shoot. But essentially, if you do like, let's say you do inventory, okay, and then you bring up your inventory and you escape, it'll shut the window. So if you want to do like, I like to turn them all off because I'll hit escape randomly and all my windows closed, and then you're like, shoot. Chat window. One thing to look at is with the shadows. If you look at the text down here, I don't know if you could see it well, but when I put none, see how the text fell a bit? Because there's no shadows. You got shallow, and then you have very deep. And I'm sure you could probably see it better on your screen, but it adds a bit more of a shadow behind the text. Maybe it's a little bit easier to read. Section group and title bar. I don't know what any of that is. Equipment window. You can turn on and off your helmet. With shoulder pads, you have, at a certain point in the game, there is a quest for shoulder pads. So I guess you can make them visible or not. You can enable your social tab, or you can make it so it can only see your social clothes. Or, let me see here. Hold on, folks. I'm not actually sure what that is. I'm assuming it means that people can only see you that way. Like maybe if they inspect you. I don't know. If anybody knows what that does, let me know. NPC dialogue. When you'll notice when we start the Elite Landing tutorial, when we talk to an NPC, it comes up in a window here. And they talk to you and you have replies. When you click your reply, it'll show what you say in the window. You can actually turn that off. Chat indicator flash head. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's for these, but I don't know. Because it's not, doesn't explain it, and I'm very strange. These ones displays names. You know, you can turn names on and off above the head and display organization names. Organization is essentially your guild. Raid, we don't really need to worry about. Help, we can turn on and off help. Show button when receiving new IP perks. Get tutorial tips. New open nano program window to show new nanos. Confirm when you want to drop something. You could show descriptions in your tooltip, shortcut bars, timer, progress on icons, etc. Okay. You can go through. I don't really play with the mouse and camera, but you have that behavior. You can turn off duels, get auto AFK. You can, if somebody invites you to a group, I think you get a flash in your, I think it's your friends window? Group fights in friends view, yeah. Okay, you can disable experience points. Audio, very simple. The voice, I'm trying to figure out, I think when you get hit or something, it makes like a sound, but don't quote me on that. I don't know if it's something maybe from an expansion. I've never figured out what the hell it was. Video, pretty simple. Your video settings, effects of different things that you see, things of the environment. I have no idea. I think billboards mainly take effect when you're in towns or cities. Excuse me. There's billboards usually show you where different areas are, etc. So, that's going to be the end of this video, folks. And what I suggest you do, spend some time. You know, you can look over the linked guide for the UI that I put in the video. Go over everything. Set your UI up as you want. And as soon as you're done setting that up, make sure you exit the game again so it saves your UI settings. All right? Once that's all ready, when we come back, I will be starting the Elite Landing tutorial guide. So this is Angel Terry. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.